Cybersecurity platform provider Palo Alto Networks is all over the news this week. Palo revealed its plan to acquire Agentic endpoint security vendor Koi, but also saw its stock come down with a weaker than expected third fiscal quarter forecast. All this comes as Palo continues down its path to become the best security vendor in the AI era. Breaking down what it all means for partners on In Depth with me is CRN's one-man cybersecurity wrecking crew, Kyle Alspach, more officially known as our senior editor. Kyle, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Now let's start with this Koi deal. What does it mean for Palo and its partners?
The biggest thing to me is just that this is the latest of a series of acquisitions that Palo has done recently. I mean, it seems like almost every few weeks they've been announcing a new one or completing one that they had previously announced. They're still full speed ahead on expanding their platform. I mean, Koi itself, as you said, is related to Agentic endpoint security, which I think is something that they're coining here, actually. I don't think that existed previously, but basically the idea is just that a lot of the security for agents needs to happen at the endpoint level because that's where people are using agents. And so as opposed to securing the actual agents themselves, Palo and others are trying to do that too, but this is a little bit of a different approach. It's just another sign, as if anyone needed another sign, that AI and agentic is really important right now, as far as Palo and their partners go. But it certainly seems like they have no plans to stop expanding their platform. It already had been very sizable previously, and now they've done at least 4 acquisitions in the past year, unless I'm missing any.
No, for sure. Hey, us writers in the AI era, we can't keep up with the verbiage, so sure, why not? Agentic endpoints, make it happen. And regarding the other acquisitions, how else is Palo growing and expanding?
The biggest one to mention is CyberArk, which was already, a large publicly traded company on its own. And Palo just a few weeks ago closed their acquisition of CyberArk, $25 billion, by far the biggest acquisition that Palo had ever done, and one of the biggest in cybersecurity history. Maybe behind Google buying Wiz, which hasn't closed yet. Palo had traditionally done a lot of smaller acquisitions, startups, and things like that. So buying CyberArk signaled a new phase here as far as their M&A strategy. But that's a huge expansion to Palo's platform because they haven't traditionally done identity security, privilege access management, these very important categories. Now they're overnight a major player in that area. So that just really plugs a huge gap in their platform if they're talking about trying to be the true complete platform for security in this era. CyberArk was definitely going to be a big piece of the puzzle.
Yeah, that's excellent detail. And then I bring up the quarterly performance only because I feel, we're coming off this big technology vendor stock downturn. We're seeing Wall Street having these short-term expectations, but all these guys like Palo are playing a long game. And I was really interested in the CEO's comments about cybersecurity in the AI era. So talk to me about his comments.
There's been concerns about whether or not AI could just come in and replace what some of these major software vendors are offering. And certainly the AI companies have been signaling that they want to do that. Nikesh Arora, CEO of Palo Alto Networks, I think speaking for security vendors in particular, his point was that it's not as easy as it might sound to just come in and replace what some of these security tools provide. 2 big reasons he cited. One is that security vendors have a ton of data, on threats, but also on their customers. And that's not something that, an AI company, Anthropic or OpenAI, there's not going to have that data. So there's a lot of things they're not going to be able to do that Palo or any other major vendor that has a ton of data could do. And then a second reason is just that AI is not there yet. It's just not accurate enough. In security, you need to be as close to 100% accurate when you're making decisions. I think most people who've used AI tools would probably agree that the accuracy is certainly nowhere near 100% at this point, if that's any kind of proxy for talking about how accurate it would be for security. I don't know that the market has bought that, but, it does seem like often Palo and Nikesh do tend to, turn out to be right on a lot of these things over the longer term. And that's certainly been the case with their platform strategy, just as another example. So it seems like the jury's out as far as security specifically. I don't know in terms of the other software makers. Maybe there is more of a case there for it.
It's a lot of great points. When I write about the application layer of all the application layer of enterprise software, it's the exact same point. These, I guess now they're traditional vendors, but yeah, they own the data, they own the context, and so for these new upstarts, for now it seems like that would be a lot to acquire to get to that exact same level. But yeah, I mean, time will tell. Everything's moving so fast, and of course, channel partners are always looking to where to put long-term bets. Their clients want consistency and are thinking about the long term. So it's an important discussion to have for sure.
Yeah. No, and that's a great point too. If solution providers, service providers are looking at this picture, I think they definitely would be rooting for the security vendors because they don't necessarily want companies to be out there trying to do their own security with LLMs.
Spot on. Well, Kyle, thank you so much for joining me on In Depth. For more on Kyle's reporting and cybersecurity in the channel, please visit crn.com.